Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, World of Blitz, and in today's video, we have quite a bit of information to be diving into. We got buffs, we got nerfs, and apparently Wargaming is going to be giving Concept 1Bs to everybody that has had an account for 10 years. Yes, you heard that right. So, as always, if you enjoy this type of content and you like the early information, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. The WZ-113 GFT is a tank that I've been saying for many years to grind because it's absolutely fantastic. And I would say probably about 6 or 7 months ago, I made a video saying that this tank is currently completely overpowered after the recent buffs, and I would highly recommend to grind it and play it before it gets nerfed. And there were a lot of people saying, oh, it's not that overpowered. Well, if that's the case, then why is Wargaming nerfing the vehicle next update? Indeed-aler, that's because the WZ is one of the top performing vehicles in the game, was clearly overbuffed by Wargaming, and now needs a bit of a shaving down. So, it's really your last chance to grind this tank and play with it if you've been pushing it off. The vehicle in its current state is completely overpowered, and while I still think it'll be good in its nerfed state, at the end of the day, the tank needs to be nerfed. It's absolutely overpowered. So we're going to take a look at the nerfed and changes list that'll be happening to the game. As we can see here, WZ-113 GFT will be nerfed. And this information is from the official Russian Wargaming stream. So it's not like this information is made out of thin air. All the stuff we'll be talking about is posted from BlitzHub EU on an official Wargaming stream. So if any of this is made up or turns out to be wrong, they are subject to change, and as I said, it's posted from Wargaming officials, so I don't know what else you want me to tell you. So let's start off with the top information. 10-year-old accounts should receive a Concept 1B with a new legendary camo as a gift for the account's age this August. So for the people complaining that, oh, we're not getting many gifts, yeah. If you are quite an experienced player who has been playing the game for 10 years, you're going to be getting a Concept 1B with this camo. We can see that this is indeed the 10-year camo, as there's literally an X standing for 10 years on the camo at the back. I actually think this is a cool looking camo, and I was wondering what it was for. I thought it was for the Blitz Cup, because the Blitz Cup was the X Cup this year, but nope. Looks like this is going to be the 10-year reward, so that's pretty dang exciting. In July, you can expect an activity for players with over 10,000 battles. In the 5th season, beginning of October, we will see a yearly Tier 10 rebalance. You can expect changes to be announced earlier. This all actually lines up pretty good because I had talked to the Wargaming CC guy, and he said that expect some big changes coming into the game within the next few months. So because of that, seems like this is all working into position. I do expect to see a yearly Tier 10 rebalance. Hopefully, we are going to be seeing some big changes that are going to fix some of the problems in the game. Tanks that are planned to be nerfed. The Leopard 1. Now, that one really interested me because I took a look at Blitz Analysis, which has all the statistics for vehicles' win rates, and the Leopard 1 is the second worst performing vehicle in the game, right behind the WZ-132-1. So it's really odd to me that the Leopard 1 is getting nerfed. I just can't imagine it's going to be much of a nerf. Maybe Wargaming's going to be removing consumables or something, but I mean, the Leopard is still a rather tricky tank to drive very well, and for the average player, it's dookie. So I'm really interested to see how Wargaming plans to nerf that vehicle. The STB-1, yeah, it deserves a nerf. The vehicle has way too much pen on its premium AP, way too much gun depression and armor combined. Personally, I think if Wargaming should nerf this vehicle, what I would do is probably take away a bit of its turret armor. I think that would be fine. I think that everything else about the tank is great. I just hate that when it gets hauled down, there's almost no way to cut through it. So make the turret cheeks a little bit weaker. I'm not saying ruin the armor, but I'm saying make it weak enough that you can cut through the vehicle at haul down angles if you aim properly. But if you don't, then it will still bounce. More like an AMX 30B, if that makes sense, without the hatch, of course. Next up, we have the WZ-113 GFT, which I just talked about. The vehicle is absolutely overpowered in its current state and needs to be nerfed. VK-72, I also agree with. It's another really strong vehicle in its current state. The vehicle features a high level of DPM for a German Super Heavy, way too much mobility because of the improved suspension, and not only that, but It has crazy good pen, super good armor, and a lot of hit points. So I'm rather interested to see how Wargaming does nerf the VK-72. My prediction would maybe be on mobility and possibly its damage per minute. Those would be the two things I would expect to see changed. But I'm not really sure. It's also possible Wargaming could go down the route of what they've done with vehicles when it comes to like the Borsig and the Grill, which is lower their damage per shot. I don't know. But I am glad to see the VK-72 is getting a nerf, because right now it's definitely a little bit too strong. The Ballshottion 25-ton, I'm also glad is getting a nerf. Wargaming over-buffed the hell out of the Batchat to a point now where it's just one of the dumbest tanks in the game. Why does the Batchat have 340 meters of view range? Like, how does that make any sense? I mean, literally, if you're running vents on the vehicle, you have 345 meters of view range. That is ridiculous. No tank deserves that much view range. Not only does the vehicle have that much view range, but it does 1,050 damage, and with shell reload boost, it can deal all that in like 3 seconds. That is uncalled for, and the tank has way too much view range and damage output for a light. I am glad that Wargaming has at least taken notice of this. If Wargaming wants to leave the alpha the way it is, all they need to do is increase the intra clip to 3 seconds and remove shell reload boost. No other changes need to be made. Maybe nerf the view range a little bit. I'd nerf the view range by 10 meters or so. But if they left the alpha damage the same, increase the intra clip, and removed shell reload boost, I think the tank would still be fantastic. It would still have great damage output, but it would be balanced and not just able to run around, clip you immediately, and drive back into cover. It's such an annoying tank to fight right now. Other ways they could balance it, removing Spall Liner would obviously knock it down a few pegs. They could also change how its armor works, nerf its upper plate. There's a lot of different things they could do, and I'm excited to see what they do. Hopefully they don't take a stupid route, though. Tanks that are now planned to be buffed. The Grill 15... yeah, that makes sense. I'm interested to see how they're going to buff the Grill. Honestly, the camo value changes definitely help the Grill a lot, because now the Grill actually has the ability to be undetected a lot better. And the refined gun changes also help the Grill a lot, because it now has more accuracy. So I'm interested to see how Wargaming does buff it. I'm hoping that they give it 600 alpha, maybe 640. That would be great, but we'll see. The Vickers Light is also getting a buff. I actually currently like the Vickers Light. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but I've been doing absolutely fantastic in the vehicle overall when it comes to my statistics in it. I mean, you take a look and I'm going 3,500 damage with 90% win rate. It's pretty good for 20 games. So I actually really like the Vickers, and I think it's a fantastic vehicle if you know what you're doing. So I'm hoping that the tank gets quite a nice buff, which is going to allow it to be even better. The IS-4, yeah, it's understandable. The IS-4 isn't the worst vehicle ever. I have not played on my press account until Wargaming made the changes, because they gave me the press after they'd already nerfed the armor on the IS-4. And even with those changes for 20 games, I have a decent damage output of 3,200, although my win rate is absolutely trash bags, and it shows that the tank really struggles at getting out wins. So I would hope that they either buff the armor, it gets faster. I don't know what they're going to do, because they ruined the tank in a lot of ways, but I still think that if they buff it right, it'll be all right. CS63, rather disappointing medium in its current state, and I'm really glad to see that they are buffing it. The tank needs more pen and more accuracy and maybe even more armor. I don't know. It needs a lot. And it's not a bad tank right now. I don't think it's the worst vehicle in the game, but I also don't think it's the best, and that just puts it in a state of limbo that nobody cares about. It is literally the least played tank in Tier 10. That's pretty sad. So hopefully Wargaming buffs the vehicle to a point where it's actually rather enjoyable and has some sort of unique mechanic going for it. Finally, the E50M is getting buffed, and I don't know how I think about that one. I've talked about many times on the channel why I think the E50M is one of the strongest mediums in the game. Its armor is great, its mobility is fantastic. I mean, yeah, the pen changes definitely nerf the E50M a little bit, but Wargaming also buffed the armor on the E50M right before the changes, so they kind of counteracted all the things that happened to it. I've been doing great in the tank for the 7 games I've played in it. Its DPM is fantastic, its accuracy is great, its mobility is stupid. I think the E50M is just a crazy tank. So these are all the changes that are currently planned to come into the game. Let me know what you guys think about these changes. Things I agree with, all the nerfs. I think, well, apart from the Leopard, I think the Leopard should stay the way it is. But all the other vehicles, STB, WZ, VK, and the Ballshottion, deserve to be nerfed. Tanks that are getting buffed, I don't know what I think about the E50M, but all the other vehicles I fully agree with. So guess we'll see. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and let me know if you're excited. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.